can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. Coup d'etats are not uncommon in South America. Before Hugo Chavez won the 1998 election, he had been imprisoned for a failed coup in 1992. A sizable part of the population supported Chavez's ideals at the time. Throughout the 1990s, Venezuelans exhibited a growing disdain for the political class and its two established parties. Politicians were seen as corrupt and oligarchical. That Chavez should be elected in 1998 on an anti-corruption socialist platform was no great surprise. Chavez made no secret of his disdain for the domestic and international status quo. He also held a number of beliefs that might be considered conspiracy theories. He was a larger-than-life character, creating a personality cult with frequent appearances in the media, such as his talk show Allo Presidente. In 2002, just 4 years after his election, another coup occurred, and this time Chavez was the target. For 48 hours, he was legally not the president of Venezuela. So what happened exactly? Here's where it gets crazy. If you ask Chavez or many of his supporters, they would argue that the US intervened to overthrow the democratic government of Venezuela and to create a regime that was more friendly to their interests. So how does this claim hold up? As documented by author William Bloom, the US has intervened in South and Central American countries before, such as the 1954 coup in Guatemala. Immediately after the coup in Venezuela, the US government threw its support behind the interim president, a Venezuelan businessman, economist, and oil executive named Pedro Carmona. Carmona didn't have a successful run as president. Within 48 hours of the coup, his legislative actions led to mass protest, and Chavez returned to power. The US initially denied backing the coup, but confirmed that they had met with plotters several times leading up to the events. For their part, the US insisted they supported constitutional means of regime change. Declassified CIA documents proved that members of US intelligence knew of this coup before it occurred. It's true that knowing about a coup and assisting in it are two different things. But which side was the US on? The official position is that the United States, while disapproving of many of Chavez's policies, only spoke to the plotters in the course of normal diplomatic affairs. To Chavez's supporters, however, there's still something the US doesn't want you to know about the 2002 Venezuelan coup. And that's not all. Stay tuned for Wednesday's episode as we dive into the allegations surrounding the death of Hugo Chavez.
As we headed out into the lake, I saw that there was no open water ahead, just rows of oil wells. Creole and the Venezuelan government worked together to make sure that the field is planned for the best long-term utilization of the country's oil resources.